transformation. And the reason the door hasn't opened yet is because God doesn't want to just open it, He wants to establish you behind it. When God opens a door, no man can shut it. And when He closes one, no force in the universe can pry it open. You've been pounding on doors that looked right, sounded right, even felt right, but God kept them shut. Why? Because He knew that just because a door looks good doesn't mean it leads to the place He designed for your elevation. God is not interested in temporary victories. He is building you for something eternal, something weighty, something with purpose. You see, some of you have been waiting for years, not weeks, not months, years, and the enemy has whispered in the dark corners of your mind, it's never going to happen. You've been forgotten. That dream is dead. But let me stand before you and crush that lie with the weight of truth. God never forgets what He promises. Your delay is not denial. Your pain has not been wasted. The door is about to swing open, not because of your perfection, not because of your effort, but because of God's faithfulness. There are doors you prayed for when you didn't even know how to pray properly, doors you cried for in silence, doors you fought for in the battlefield of your mind. God saw it all. He counted every tear. He recorded every sleepless night. And now, in His divine timing, He is aligning every detail. He is moving hearts. He is shifting circumstances. He is orchestrating events behind the scenes. All so that when the door opens, it will not be by coincidence. It will be undeniable that God did this. Don't mistake God's silence for absence. He's been closer than you think. The waiting season wasn't empty. It was a construction site. While you were crying, God was building. While you were questioning, God was structuring. While you were breaking, God was molding. He allowed the door to remain closed because the version of you that started this journey wasn't strong enough to carry what lies behind that door. But now, after the storms, the losses, the wilderness, you've been fortified. Some of you are standing before a door that generations before you have tried to walk through and failed. You are about to break generational curses, step into territories your family only dreamed of, and occupy places that were reserved for your obedience. You've been faithful over little, and now God is getting ready to make you ruler over much. And this is not a door that leads to easy, it's a door that leads to assignment. God doesn't open doors for comfort, He opens them for calling. You may not feel qualified. You may think, why me? But that's the beauty of God. He doesn't choose the qualified. He qualifies the chosen. He doesn't look for perfection. He looks for surrender. And if you've been surrendered, even in your weakness, God has been watching. Heaven has taken notice of your endurance. You didn't quit when you were betrayed. You didn't walk away when people mocked you. You stayed on your knees. You stayed in position. And now the door is about to open. And hear me, when God opens a door, it won't come with confusion. It won't require you to compromise. It won't demand that you beg for validation. The door God opens will bring peace. It will confirm what your spirit already knows. It will draw you closer to Him, not distract you. This is how you'll know it's from God. It won't just elevate you, it will humble you. It will cause you to weep with gratitude, because you'll know you didn't force it. You waited for it. But I must warn you, there are counterfeit doors. The enemy loves to offer premature opportunities dressed in the garments of blessing. Just because it's open doesn't mean it's God's door. Test the spirit. Ask yourself, does this pull me away from God or push me deeper into purpose? Does this bring lasting peace or temporary pleasure? You must be discerning. Every good-looking door is not a God-ordained door. That's why your relationship with God is crucial in this season, so that you recognize His voice above the noise. Some of you are tired because you've been standing in front of doors that were never assigned to you. You've exhausted yourself begging for things that weren't meant for your destiny. Let go. Step back. Align with God. When you chase after Him, you won't have to chase after doors. They'll open at the sound of your obedience. God is not looking for people who knock the loudest. He's looking for people who trust Him the deepest. And for those of you who've been through deep loss, those who've buried dreams, wept over closed chapters, and questioned your very worth, I declare to you, God is about to redeem the time. You thought it was over. You thought the door had closed for good. But God is the God of restoration. He doesn't just give you what you lost, He gives you better. He opens doors that make you forget the pain of the previous season. The glory that's coming will make the suffering make sense. There are some doors that don't open by effort, they open by favor. And the favor of God is about to rest on you in such a way that what others strive for, you will receive by divine appointment. That promotion, that breakthrough, that opportunity, it's not coming because of your connections, it's coming because of your covenant. You've been hidden on purpose. God was preparing you in obscurity so He could reveal you in victory. And when the door opens, shear me, you must walk through it with boldness. No hesitation, no fear, no turning back. God doesn't bring you this far just to tease you. He brings you this far to transition you. What lies ahead is greater than what you're leaving behind. Stop mourning closed doors. If it closed, it wasn't yours. If it ended, it was meant to. The door in front of you is better than the door behind you. Trust God's direction more than you trust your past. This next door is going to shift everything. Your finances, your family, your mind, your health, it's all connected. When God opens this door, He's not just blessing you, He's blessing everyone connected to you. You're the key. You're the one God chose to walk through first so others can follow. Don't underestimate the power of your obedience. Don't shrink back in false humility. Walk boldly. Walk with purpose. Walk knowing that God has gone before you. And yes, there will be resistance. With every open door comes opposition. But do not fear. The same God who opened the door will guard it. The same hand that unlocked it will protect you as you walk through it. No weapon formed against you shall prosper. The critics will talk, the doubters will rise, the enemy will rage. But nothing and no one can stop a door opened by the hand of God. And some of you listen closely, you're not just waiting for a door, you are the door. You are the opening that God is using to bring change in your family, hope to your community, and revival to dry places. Don't limit yourself to physical opportunities. You are the divine access point through which heaven is about to touch earth. You're not waiting for a platform, you are the platform. You're not waiting for a breakthrough, you are the breakthrough. But before that door opens, make sure your heart is ready. God doesn't just want to elevate your position, He wants to elevate your character. He wants your integrity to match your influence. This is the season to clean house, to forgive, to release bitterness, to repent. Because the door God is about to open requires purity, humility, and focus. The higher the calling, the deeper the consecration. Don't just prepare your hands, prepare your heart. And when that moment comes, when the door creaks open and light floods your darkness, don't forget God. Don't forget the nights you cried, the days you fasted, the battles you fought in secret. Don't let success make you lose the voice that got you there. Stay grounded. Stay grateful. Stay submitted. Because the same God who opens doors is the same God who closes them when pride walks in. This is your season, your time, your appointed moment. All of heaven is leaning forward, waiting to see what you'll do with this divine invitation. Will you step forward in faith or retreat in fear? Will you recognize the door or walk past it distracted? Will you obey God's voice even when it doesn't make sense? I pray you choose obedience. I pray you choose trust. Because the door you've been waiting for isn't just about you, it's about destiny. And destiny doesn't wait forever. God is not a man that He should lie. What He promised, He will fulfill. What He started, He will complete. What He declared over your life, He will bring to pass. The door is opening. Can you feel it? Can you sense the shift? This is not hype. This is holy. And if your spirit is aligned, you already know it. This is the moment everything changes. There is a moment in every life when you reach the edge of yourself. You've done all you can. You've prayed, fasted, believed, waited, and even crawled your way forward, yet the door still seems locked. That is the moment when the test reaches its highest point. That is when the human effort ends and God's power begins. You see, God does not open doors merely because we are tired of waiting. He opens them when the appointed time arrives, when the process has done its work, when the fire is refined, and when your heart is finally in alignment with the purpose He has written for you before you ever drew your first breath. God has always been a God of timing. He is never early. He is never late. His actions do not bend to our impatience, because His plan is not based on our emotions. It is rooted in divine purpose. You may think you've been buried in obscurity, but God has actually planted you. And what is planted must first break before it rises. Do not curse your breaking. Do not resent the season where no one sees you. For it is in the quiet, in the stillness, where God does His most sacred work. The roots grow deep before the fruit appears. And understand this. Every closed door was part of His mercy. Every delay was an act of protection. You thought rejection was a curse, but it was God shielding you from what would have destroyed your soul. Not every good thing is a God thing. And sometimes God closes one door to prepare you for something far beyond what you were asking for. That is why your prayers must mature from give me to prepare me. Because when God opens a door, He doesn't want you to just enter it, He wants you to thrive in it. So ask yourself, are you ready for what you've been praying for? Can your character handle the weight of the next level? Can your heart remain pure when favor surrounds you? Because God will not promote what pride will destroy. He's not just opening a door for your comfort, He's opening a door for your calling. And if you're called, you must carry it with humility. This door is not about being seen, it's about fulfilling your purpose, it's about impact, it's about legacy, it's about bringing light where there has only been darkness. And let me tell you something vital. When God opens this door, you won't walk through it alone. His presence will go before you. His wisdom will guide you. His protection will surround you. You won't have to push your way in. You won't have to manipulate or strive. You'll walk through it with a peace that surpasses understanding. That's how you'll know it's from God. It won't feel like chaos. It will feel like clarity. It won't make you anxious. It will settle your spirit. Now don't misunderstand me. God's doors are not always glamorous. Sometimes the door He opens leads to a battle before it leads to a blessing. Sometimes it comes with resistance, with adversity, with testing. But that does not mean it is not from God. In fact, often the greatest doors are guarded by the greatest trials. Why? Because God doesn't give keys to cowards. He gives them to warriors. To the ones who stayed when it would have been easier to leave. To the ones who trusted when everything said give up. To the ones who still worshiped when their heart was breaking. The enemy cannot stop what God has ordained. But he will try to distract you before the door opens. He'll bring noise, confusion, false opportunities, and emotional storms to pull you away from your place of readiness. But this is the time to stand firm, to silence the voices of doubt, to drown out the noise with the truth of who God is. He is not a God of confusion. He is a God of order, a God of power, a God of completion. And what He started in you, He will finish. There is someone listening right now who feels like everything is falling apart. But in reality, everything is falling into place. The pain is not random. The delay is not meaningless. God is weaving something so intricate, so intentional, that when He finally pulls back the curtain, you will fall to your knees in awe. You'll look back and thank God for every no, every tear, every detour, because now Standing at the threshold of your door, you'll see the masterpiece that only God could create. This door is not small. It's not average. It's not mediocre. It is a divine gateway to a dimension of your life you've never stepped into before. And it will demand more from you, more discipline, more focus, more sacrifice. But it will also give more to you, more clarity, more peace, more fulfillment than you've ever known. You'll wake up knowing why you're alive. You'll move with conviction. You'll speak with authority, not because of who you are, but because of who sent you. And let me tell you, there are some people who cannot go through this door with you. There are relationships that served a season, but cannot survive this next level. You must be willing to leave behind what is familiar to walk into what is divinely prepared. Don't cling to people who no longer align with your purpose. Don't drag the past into a future that God sanctified for your growth. If they had to go, it's because their presence would have poisoned your promise. Let them go, and trust that what is waiting behind this door will not just replace what you lost, it will exceed it. I know the weight of waiting. I know the agony of unanswered prayers, but I also know the power of God's timing. And what He's about to do in your life is not small. It's not ordinary. It's not explainable by logic. It's going to make people wonder how you got there. They'll look at you and say, "How did this happen?" And your only response will be, "God opened the door." Because that's the kind of door that leaves no room for pride-only praise. You won't have to defend yourself. You won't have to convince anyone. The fruit will speak for itself. The results will silence the critics. The transformation will be so clear, so profound, that even your enemies will have to admit God's hand is on you. That's the power of a door, opened by godit, shuts the mouths of liars, and elevates you without explanation. But remember, the door is not the destination. It's a beginning, a launch point, a new chapter. And with every new chapter comes new responsibility. You must steward this opportunity well. You must walk in integrity, even when no one is watching. You must remain in alignment with God, not just in public, but in private. Because the same God who opens the door is watching how you walk through it. This is sacred. This is holy. And you've been chosen not because you are the most talented, the most connected, or the most experienced, but because God saw your heart. He saw the way you honored Him when no one else did. He saw the way you stayed loyal in the wilderness. And now He's about to reward what only He saw. This is divine reward. Not earned, but granted. Not forced, but released in due season. The earth may not celebrate you. The world may not applaud you. But heaven is watching. Heaven is moving. And when heaven moves, no force on earth can stand in the way. This is more than an opportunity. It is a divine shift. And you must move with it. You must prepare not just for what's coming, but for who you must become when it arrives. God is not giving you a door to remain the same. He's giving you a door so that He can bring forth the version of you that He always intended. Let your posture be one of humility. Let your spirit remain teachable. Let your life be a vessel through which God can shine. The door is coming, and when it opens, it will confirm what your spirit has already known. That you were never forgotten. That you were never forsaken. That God was working all along. That this was not just your desire, it was His plan. When God opens the door you've been waiting for, it won't simply be an opportunity. It will be a divine appointment, an intersection between your obedience and His unmatched authority. And in that moment, your life will no longer be measured by what you lost, but by what you stepped into. You've been walking through the shadows of uncertainty for too long, but now the light of God's timing is about to break through with undeniable force, not because you demanded it, but because you were developed for it. God does not honor entitlement. He honors endurance. You endured. You remained faithful. And now the heavens are preparing to release what your faith has already received. Understand this: what lies behind the door is not just for you. It is for those connected to your life. God is not only opening this door for your blessing, but for the breakthrough of others who will witness what He has done through you. Your story is about to become someone else's survival guide. Your testimony is about to shake someone else free from their chains. Because God uses doors not just to advance individuals, but to advance His will in the earth through surrendered vessels. And make no mistake, you are being positioned as a vessel, a living, breathing instrument of His mercy, power, and glory. Do not confuse this divine moment with mere human success. The world chases platforms and praise, but the door God opens leads to something deeper. It leads to assignment, to sacred responsibility, to walking in what you were born to carry. You will not walk through to applause, you will walk through with authority. And authority does not come from men. It comes from God, from the fire you survived, from the prayers you cried, from the nights you bled in silence, holding on to promises that hadn't yet manifested. Some of you have been walking in circles, feeling forgotten, dismissed, abandoned. But your steps were not in vain. God is not a God of wasted journeys. Every delay, every detour, every disappointment was God weaving together a foundation that could carry the weight of what's about to be revealed. Had He opened the door earlier, you may have walked through with pride, with ego, with wounds still bleeding. But now you are healed. You are wiser. You are forged by fire, not flattery. You are ready. This next season is not about striving. It's about receiving. When God moves, it's not by force, it's by command. He speaks, and things shift. He declares, and doors swing open without resistance. What you tried to earn with effort will now come by ease, not because it is easy, but because it is ordained. And when something is ordained by God, it no longer depends on man's permission or approval. Let that truth sink into your soul. No one can deny what God has already decided. Some people saw you fall and assumed you were finished, but they forgot that God does His greatest work in the dirt. They forgot that seeds must be buried before they bloom. They judged your silence, but they didn't know it was God who kept you hidden. Because before He reveals, He refines. Before He elevates, He establishes. And now your refining has produced roots so deep that no storm can uproot you. You're not just rising, you're rising with foundation. And let me say this with urgency. Do not wait for perfect conditions to walk through your door. If you're waiting to feel qualified, to feel ready, to have it all together, you'll delay the very thing God has been preparing for you. God does not require perfection, He requires obedience. When the door opens, walk. When the call comes, answer. When the opportunity presents itself, move. Because obedience is the language that opens realms far beyond what effort could ever touch. When God says, go, go, even if your knees are shaking, because trust is not about clarity, it's about confidence in the one who is guiding you. And what if I told you that the door God is about to open is not even the one you were expecting? Because sometimes we pray for doors we understand, but God opens doors we didn't even know we needed. You ask for provision, and He's opening a door to purpose. You ask for healing, and He's opening a door to wholeness. You ask for success, but He's giving you significance. God doesn't answer small-minded prayers with small blessings. He answers them with transformative destiny. And that is why you must let go of your limited vision. You must release the expectation that the blessing will look like your plan. God's thoughts are not your thoughts. His ways are higher, deeper, stronger. If the door doesn't look like what you imagine, trust Him anyway. If it feels unfamiliar, walk through anyway. If it leads you into uncomfortable territory, follow Him anyway. Because the safest place to be is not in what is familiar, but in what is God ordained. Many of you are standing at the edge of answered prayer, but fear is whispering in your ear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of stepping into something bigger than yourself. But listen closely. Fear has no authority where God has given you command. Fear is the thief of destiny, and it is silenced not by self-confidence, but by God-confidence. Speak to your fear. Tell it that it can't follow you through the door. Tell it that it has no place in the future God is calling you into. You didn't survive all that you've been through just to be held back by the ghost of doubt. The door is coming, and you must be ready. Ready in your spirit, ready in your mind, ready in your heart. Because when it opens, you won't have time to prepare, you'll have to respond. And God has already prepared you in secret for what He is about to do in public. The conversations you had with Him in silence, the ones no one heard, the cries, the groanings, the surrendered moments, they are about to produce fruit before all to see. But do not get caught up in the visibility. God is not elevating you to be seen. He's elevating you to serve. And the higher you go, the more surrendered you must be. So let humility be your anchor. Let gratitude be your song. Let reverence for God be the compass that keeps your soul aligned. For the greatest tragedy is not a door that remains closed, but a door that is opened and mishandled. You must walk through with eyes fixed on God, ears tuned to His whisper, and a heart that beats not for glory but for obedience. Because this is holy ground. This is sacred territory. And what God is entrusting to you must not be taken lightly. Do not rush. Do not panic. Do not compare your journey to others. God's timing is tailored. His preparation is specific. And when He opens your door, it won't look like anyone else's because it was designed for you. And the beauty of God's door is this: it fits only your obedience. No one else can walk through it. No one else can claim it. No one else can block it. Because when God opens a door, it's sealed with His authority, and no force in the heavens or the earth can override His command. And hear this deep in your spirit: when God opens the door you've been waiting for, it will not come to validate your ego. It will come to fulfill His plan. You are not the center of the blessing, God is. You are not the author of the breakthrough, God is. And that is what makes it sacred. The door is not about your status, your image, or your self-worth. It is about being positioned where God can manifest His power through your life. It is about becoming the evidence of what happens when someone refuses to let go of faith, even when it hurts, even when it's lonely, even when it feels like nothing is moving. You are not being rewarded for perfection. You are being trusted with purpose. God opens doors not because we've earned them, but because He sees we are now aligned with His will. The door represents more than change. It represents trust. God is entrusting you with something that carries weight. This is not lightweight favor. This is kingdom level responsibility. So your prayer must shift. No longer God just opened the door, but God prepare me to carry what's behind it. Because if He opens it and you aren't ready, what was meant to elevate you could overwhelm you. And God is too wise to give a crown to someone who has not yet learned how to carry the weight of surrender. Let this be a time where your inner life becomes stronger than your outer performance. God is not impressed by your public words. He is moved by your private obedience. He is watching the way you handle the quiet seasons, the invisible work, the unseen sacrifices. And that is what determines what doors open, not noise, not fame, not applause, but character forged in the silence of surrender. You may think no one sees the way you've obeyed God when it cost you everything, but God sees. And He is the one who holds the key to your future. There are no shortcuts to divine doors. You cannot manipulate your way into what God has ordained. You cannot rush what God is still preparing. Some have tried to build their own doors, carve out their own paths, but anything man-made will eventually collapse under pressure. Only what God opens can withstand the shaking of life. Only what God builds will stand through storms. This is why you must be patient. This is why you must be rooted, so that when the door opens, you are not standing on sand, but on solid foundation. There are going to be voices that rise against your blessing. People will question how you got here. They will try to attach your elevation to natural explanations. But don't waste your time trying to prove your process. Let the fruit speak for itself. Let your life testify. Let the undeniable hand of God upon you silence every doubter and every critic. Because when God opens the door, even those who opposed you will be forced to acknowledge that only God could have done it. And some of you, listen closely, you are not just about to walk through a door, you are about to become a door for others to walk through. A living gateway to hope, to restoration, to wisdom. Your life will open the way for people who thought it was too late. You are carrying more than you realize. God has been using your trials to build a voice that carries authority, a presence that shifts atmospheres, a story that breaks chains. You thought you were being crushed, but you were being commissioned. You thought you were losing, but God was reshaping you into a vessel of breakthrough. And when the door opens, walk with quiet confidence, not arrogance, not self-reliance, but confidence rooted in your trust in God. Don't minimize the miracle by acting like you don't belong. You do belong because God brought you there. You are not intruding, you are assigned. This is not about feelings. It's about calling. It's about knowing deep in your soul that if God opened the door, He has already equipped you to walk through it. You may feel afraid, but courage is not the absence of fear. It's moving forward while trusting the God who goes before you. This is not a door into comfort, it's a door into calling. God is not making your life easier, He's making it eternally effective. He's shifting your focus from comfort to impact, from safety to surrender, from routine to revelation. The days of small thinking are over. The days of shrinking back are behind you. God is calling you to rise, to move, to advance, not in pride, but in power, not in noise, but in depth, because you were born to carry something sacred, and now is the moment for it to be revealed. There are some listening who've been disqualifying themselves for years. You've believed the lie that your past mistakes have blocked your future promise. But hear me with every fiber of your spirit. God redeems. God restores. God rebuilds what man calls ruin. No one is too far gone. No mistake is beyond repair. If your heart is surrendered, if your spirit is humble, then nothing can disqualify what God has qualified. The door you thought was closed forever, it's still under God's authority. It's not too late. You're not too old. You're not too broken. You're just in time for what God has appointed. So lift your eyes, square your shoulders. Let the fire of expectation rise again. Let your hope be reawakened. The same God who led you through the valley will lead you through the doorway. The same power that sustained you in the wilderness will carry you into the promise. You don't have to force it. You don't have to strive. Just stay close to God. Stay in alignment. Stay in faith. Because the key to the door is not in your hand, it's in God's hand. And He opens what no man can shut. When that moment comes, when the atmosphere shifts, when the door creaks, open, respond with boldness. Don't hesitate. Don't overthink. Don't look around for validation. If God brought you to it, walk through it. Don't ask for opinions. Don't wait for consensus. Obedience doesn't require a committee. It requires conviction. This is your appointed time. You've been through too much, cried too long, fought too hard to stand still now. This is not the season to look back. This is not the season to second guess. This is the season to step forward. And as you move, keep your eyes on the one who opened the way. Don't become distracted by the success. Don't become addicted to the applause. Stay grounded. Stay low. Stay prayerful. The blessing is not the destination. It's the beginning of a greater walk with God. The more He gives you, the more you must depend on Him. The higher He takes you, the more you must remain rooted in humility. Because the door is not the reward, God Himself is the reward. This moment that you are entering is not just a season, it is a summoning, a divine calling from the Almighty that now is the time to rise. Not in pride, but in purpose. Not for spotlight, but for sacred duty. The door God is about to open in your life is not a reward for survival, it is an assignment for destiny. And when He opens it, it will not look like man's definition of success. It will not be packaged with glitter or adorned in applause. It will come wrapped in obedience, marked by clarity, and dripping with the unmistakable presence of God's will. Do not think for one moment that this door is small. God does not deal in smallness. Even when it looks humble in the eyes of the world, when it seems unnoticed or insignificant, anything touched by God becomes great. Anything connected to His purpose carries eternal weight. What man overlooks, God overflows. What man devalues, God exalts. This is why you cannot allow your eyes to judge the size of the opening. The door may appear narrow, but it leads into a wide, place of divine expansion where your influence will multiply and your purpose will stretch further than your mind ever imagined. This is where faith must lead you. Not your feelings, not your fears, not the opinions of those who have no revelation of what God has been doing in your spirit. God has not called you to blend in. He has called you to break through cycles that have kept your family bound, to break through mindsets that have kept you limited, to break through the noise of this world and walk in the still, strong voice of divine instruction. And the only way to break through is to obey without hesitation. There will be moments where what God asks you to do doesn't make sense. He may open a door that leads to unfamiliar territory, a place where you feel underqualified, overlooked, or misunderstood. But those are the places where God shows Himself strongest. He doesn't bring you into the open so you can rely on your intellect. He brings you so that you will lean entirely on Him. And when you do, what was uncertain becomes unstoppable. What was confusing becomes crystal clear. Because faith sharpens your spiritual vision and tunes your ears to the rhythm of God's will. Some of you are still trying to carry yesterday's burdens through a door that requires freedom. Let them go. You cannot walk into what God has for you if your hands are full of resentment, bitterness, or old regrets. God does not open the door to a new chapter so you can rewrite the old one. He opens it to write something fresh, something anointed, something eternal. You must release what is expired so you can embrace what is divine. Let go of what hurt you. Let go of what confused you. Let go of what didn't work. Because what's coming will make sense of every no that once broke your heart. And do not be surprised when the door God opens leads not only to elevation, but to separation. Yes, separation. Because not everyone can walk with you into the next dimension of purpose. There are voices you will have to silence. There are places you will have to leave. There are habits that cannot survive in the presence of divine movement. If God is calling you higher, then you must shed what is lower. This is not punishment, it is protection. This is not rejection, it is refinement. God is not trying to take something from you. He's trying to make room for something greater. You are being refined, not for popularity, but for purity. You are being prepared, not for noise, but for power. And the power that comes from God does not boast, it builds. It builds families. It builds generations. It builds legacies. that echo long after your footsteps are gone. This is what the open door is about. It is not for your name to be praised, but for God's will to be fulfilled through your yielded life. And understand this, when God opens the door, the attack may intensify. Do not mistake resistance for misdirection. Sometimes the moment you step into purpose, the pressure increases. But pressure is not a sign to retreat. It is a sign that you have entered the realm of impact. If there is no resistance, you're probably not taking any ground. So don't flinch, don't fold, stand firm. Because the same God who opens the door will sustain you through it. You do not need to manufacture strength. He will be your strength. There are levels to favor. There are levels to calling. And you are stepping into a level that cannot be reached by talent alone. It cannot be sustained by charisma. It cannot be faked. This next level requires anointing. And the anointing is not purchased with applause. It is purchased with surrender, with fasting, with late nights of crying out to God when no one else is watching. It is purchased with obedience when it hurts, with integrity when it's not convenient, with silence when you could have defended yourself, but chose to let God speak for you instead. This is not about chasing doors. Stop chasing. Stop knocking on what God has closed. The door that's opening for you will not require compromise. It will not require begging. It will not require manipulation. It will open because it was already written into the timeline of your life before you were formed. God saw you in your mother's womb and ordained this moment. You are not standing here by luck. You are standing here by design. You didn't stumble into destiny, you were summoned by it. And for the one who feels unworthy, let me speak directly to your soul. God does not call the perfect. He calls the willing. Your scars do not disqualify you. Your past does not cancel your future. Your mistakes do not outweigh God's mercy. If anything, your brokenness has prepared you more than you realize, because it is the broken vessel that pours best. It is the humbled heart that hears clearest. It is the life surrendered in pieces that God loves to make whole, because in the restoration, He receives all the glory. So rise with reverence, rise with expectation. Rise knowing that what's coming cannot be stopped, delayed, or denied, not by any force of man, not by any voice of the enemy, not even by your own doubt. When God commands the door to open, it must open. And when it does, you will walk into rooms that your resume couldn't get you into. You will be seated at tables where you were once overlooked. You will receive opportunities that were beyond your qualifications, because this is not about merit, it is about mandate. God has spoken, and His word will not return void. And so, prepare yourself. Prepare not just externally, but inwardly. Let your spirit be sharp. Let your discernment be heightened. Let your dependence on God be deeper than ever before. Because what you're about to step into is not ordinary. It is not common. It is not something you can explain. It is divine. You will know it. You will feel it. You will walk in it. And when you do, your life will never be the same. This is the moment you've prayed for, wept over, fasted for, dreamed of, and it is here. The door is opening, and when it does, it will be the undeniable move of God alone. So, now, stand still in your spirit, but strong in your faith. You have not waited in vain. You have not cried for nothing. The silence was never absence, it was preparation. The delay was never denial, it was divine alignment. God is not slow. He is strategic. And now, the heavens are shifting. The season is turning. What was once locked is being commanded to open. The very thing you almost gave up on is about to rise from the dust with more power, more clarity, and more purpose than you could have ever imagined. When that door opens, you will know it was God. You will not question. You will not wonder. You will walk through it with a trembling heart and a steady step, because every trial trained you for this. Every prayer paved the path. Every quiet moment built your inner strength. Now is not the time to retreat. Now is the time to respond. Lift your head, take a deep breath, silence every lie of doubt. The door is opening not by your strength, but by the will of God Almighty. And when it opens, step into it, not with fear, but with faith, because this is not just your breakthrough, this is your becoming.